G'day, let's have a look at a few different multimeters on very different price ranges and talk about exactly what the purpose of each of these is and what the right multimeter for you is. So if you're just starting out on any sort of electronics or housework, DIY, any of that sort of stuff, which of these multimeters is actually right for you? So what we've got starting on the left here is this is a cheapo, probably one of the cheapest multimeters you can buy. This was about $5-7-ish US dollars. You can get these for super nice and cheap. This one here in the middle is a Fluke, so really nice quality brand 107. This one is about $100 US dollars. And then we move up here to a Fluke 177. Now this one here is about 400-ish US dollars. So obviously a really big price difference. And all of these have very different features, some similar, some very different. And then that is exactly why the price range is so different. So let's pretty much get straight into it and start talking about a few of the features of these. So firstly, going to look at the construction of them, right? So we'll start with the cheap one again. This is very cheap, just some cheap clamshell plastic. It doesn't have a backlight, and the actual prongs here as well are really cheap wire. This is just a plastic, and then you've got those sort of metal tips there. So that's kind of that one. The moment we move to a Fluke, the quality of this steps up tenfold. This is much, much better quality. You've got a two-tone plastic, so you've got the yellow color here, and then you've got the gray on top. The actual wires for this still feels a little bit more on the budget side, but definitely much better quality prongs. And they're a little bit of a grippy plastic, so when you hold them in the hand, it's a little bit more comfortable. And then the prongs as well are pretty standard on this one. And once we step it up to these really expensive models, you can see the prongs here are a really nice soft cable, so really flexible, and you can see just how much easier they are to move around. These are a lot sturdier, and these ones here are actually quite stiff as well, so very different. These are fantastic. Depending on what prongs you can get some of these self-adjusting ones. So if you're taking the voltage inside a wall socket or somewhere where it doesn't really matter if you touch a lot, obviously you can have it extended. And then it's got little thread down the bottom here as well, so you can put different accessories on top. So you can put alligator clips or other bits and pieces on top here and just screw them in. But then when you're working on actual sensitive electronics or PCBs and you actually don't want to short anything, you see I can just kind of rotate that, and this extra insulation comes out, and then only that little tip is exposed. So just, you get all these extra really nice to have features on these expensive ones. The construction of this one as well is the backing has a really nice soft rubber. So this is all a rubber. So it makes it much grippier. And then you've got this nice plastic on top. And you do have this stand as well that you can kind of just put down, and you can actually let it stand. So when you're working on it, you can see that a bit easier. None of these other ones have those stands. All right, so now that we've talked about the construction, that's probably the big physical difference between them. But then when we get a little bit deeper into it, we'll look at things like warranty. So these cheap ones will come with no warranty or very minimal warranty, depending where you buy them from. If you get them from Amazon or something, they might have returns. Whereas if you buy a better quality ones like these Fluke, they come with multi-year warranties, and Fluke will really take care of you. So the moment you step up to that name brand, you're buying that brand, and the brand will usually look after you. So the other really important thing with this is safety. So kind of the max voltages that both of these two here are apparently rated for 600 volts. So I fully trust that the Fluke is rated for 600 volts, whereas this one being rated to 600 volts, I would not trust that. I would not work on any high voltage on this at all. Anything that is deadly or that has the potential to hurt you, I would not use this one for. It just is too cheap. I don't trust it at all. Whereas the Fluke, no problem at all. Extremely safe, quality assured product. 600 volt for this one, very happy to work with that. And then this one up here goes up to 1000 volts. And some of these models go even higher for specialized purposes. As a general high-end product, this one here is really good for that. So again, kind of safety, Fluke, no problem at all. Trust them with my life. Small digital ones, I would not use that at all for any high voltages. So that kind of brings us into applications, right? So if you're buying it just to kind of test the occasional battery, make sure the battery is the right voltage, even on your car, if you just want to test the 12 volt system there, or if you're doing any bench electronics, so working on PCBs, testing voltages, things like that, then something like this is probably going to be fine, right? Because you're working on a low voltage, nothing really can go wrong, can't really hurt you, and it will give you a good enough estimate of what the voltage is. Again, for most applications, that'll be fine. But the moment you actually start stepping it up. So if you want to actually check any voltage in your house, you're checking 240, 110, even higher voltages, any three-phase stuff, 480 volts, anything like that, you really do want to step it up to these big name brands, because they come with that safety backing that just means a lot, because obviously you don't want to get injured using any of this. So that's kind of the biggest differences apart from the actual features, right? So each of these will have very different features. So I won't talk too in depth about all of these, but I'll give you kind of an overview of what the price range buys you. So this one here, if you look at the center wheel, you can switch it on by just turning that center. And what I mentioned before, this one doesn't have any backlight. So the screen's pretty readable, you can see it, but there's no backlight. So you've got a voltage DC here, but there's no auto range. So depending on what you're measuring, you have to set a range. So this will go up to 20 volts, this will go up to 200 volts and up to 1000 volts. But again, I do not go above 20 volts. Anything higher than that, I don't use this thing for, just don't trust it. You can go down to 200 millivolts there as well. And then you've got your ohms here. So you got your kilo ohms, and the whole ohm range. You've got a little tester as well to test continuity, so you can see that when you touch them together it will beep, which is nice to have if you want to find continuity of some circuit and see where that goes. So quite a few features, and then you've got amps as well, so you've got current here. So what you got to then do is swap the positive prong from this side here over to this side, so then you can measure the actual current as well. And finally, we've got voltage, AC here, 200 and 750 volts. And then you've got your off there as well. Now this one here specifically also doesn't turn off. So if you leave it and you leave it on, this will actually just stay on. There's a lot of these different generic ones as well. So if you are after one of these, I'll put a link down below and have a look. They will come with different features, but in general, they'll kind of have these standard features, what I sort of talked through in this one. And this one here is also powered by a 9-volt battery as well. So again, any sort of low power stuff where you don't really need the measurement to be too precise, DIY stuff, this thing will be completely fine. And it costs, like I said, $5-10. So it doesn't come with warranty, but if it breaks, it doesn't really matter. You just chuck this one out and buy another one, right? You can also have a couple, like if you just want to keep one in the car, testing the battery in the car or anything like that for a few dollars, this thing here is fine. All right, but then stepping it up to mid-range product for kind of your DIY or day-to-day use. Looks like it has a lot less options, right? Because it only has a few. But what the biggest feature, or the biggest difference between these two in the features is this one has the auto range all across its entire measurement spectrum. So you see that I just put into voltage AC. So let's go voltage DC. It'll stabilize to 0. And if I just grab a battery, so for example, we just got this 1.5 volt cell and I put that on, you can see it will jump up auto scale and give you that 1.601-ish volts DC. So that is really good. And then if you, for example, want to step it up to 18 volt battery, and then immediately what you can do is you can go and get one of these drill batteries. So this one here will be 18 volts, but actually it's fully charged. So there you go, you can see that it shows us 20.5 volts. So that's the really good part about this auto range. You can just straight away go between whatever voltages you want within that range, and it will automatically scale. You can then also measure all of your different features. So you got your ohms there as well, so that's automatic range. And then if you click that button, you got your continuity as well with the beeping. So you can see that work, and it works quite a bit faster than the other one. So that works really well. And another one, you got your diode mode as well. So you can put a diode on here and it'll tell you which way, which direction the current will actually flow through. It does also have a backlight, so you see compressor can turn that on and off, which is really handy. You've got capacitance as well, so you can actually measure capacitors on this. And this one here specifically is rated from 50 nanofarad up to 1000 microfarad, so quite a big range. And if you want to go to current here as well, you've got to change the positive prong over to the other side here for current, and this one has a 10 amp fuse as well, so that's good, you're protected from any shorts. And then you can just change that mode between AC and DC as well. So really intuitive interface, really nice, easy to flick through. And obviously you can go to off, but if you leave this one on for a while, it will turn itself off after a while. All right, so that's that one. And then when we step it up to the top of the range really, right? So this is a 177. It has effectively very similar features to this smaller one with a few extra ones, obviously. But the whole range of measurement is significantly higher. So it can measure from a lower starting point up to a higher voltage, and even the capacitance will be higher. It'll measure higher frequency as well. So you can measure the voltage over a higher frequency. And also you've got a few extra features that this one has that the smaller ones don't as well. All right, so again, if we just take this one, chuck the battery on, you'll see that auto scale straight away. And if you notice on this one, so I'll show it there, this one doesn't have it on the bottom, but this one here has this really nice auto range. down the bottom. So you can see if I put that on, it will show you a little bar representation of the voltage there, which I think is really cool, just to kind of quickly see that. And again, the precision of this one will just outshine by far both of these other ones. And then just for consistency, let's go straight to a 20 volt battery or 18 volt battery. But again, that's 20.54 volts there, and you've got the range down the bottom there as well. Now, likewise with this one, you can actually change the voltage measurement out to a current. The reason that's there is because this is both fuse, so this is two different fuses. And the reason it does that, it's got a smaller range and a higher range. So if you do this and use it, it will measure it much more precisely than just that 10 amp fuse, because it's got a much larger range. So if you want to measure small current, this is really good. And again, that's where this guy really shines, is for that precision. So if you are working on sensitive electronics and you do need those precise measurements, this is what you use. Or at the same time, if you're a professional worker working in any sort of HVAC, obviously electrician, any sort of electronics, anything like that on a daily basis, you do want to go for this higher range one. This also remembers the minimum and maximum range as well. So once you do that, it will remember there. And the other nice thing about this one is if you actually turn it over to the current, you can see there it told me lead. So this one specifically displays that you've got to swap this lead out, right? Because you could have it in there, forget that it's on, not get a measurement, and wonder why. So it's really nice. Just these little extra features that you get when you pay a bit more. Now, the other thing that I did want to mention with this is as well, so these two will both measure voltages up to, again, 600 volts, and I don't actually know what this one's rated for. It's got 1,000 there, but I'm not going to test it. So whatever few hundred volts that this one is rated for, these actually won't measure True-RMS. So what that means is effectively they will assume that the AC signal is smooth and just kind of give you that center average reading, which is usually okay. Again, anything that you don't need terrible precision, these will be fine. It'll give you a fine reading. But this one here is an actual True-RMS. So it actually calculates that root mean square of the actual AC signal. It measures the signal correctly and it gives you the exact reading. So again, any professional work or high sensitive work, that is where these features come in really handy with these expensive models. That's pretty much it as far as the features concerned. What I do want to touch on is a few more points. So with this one here, usually a lot of the higher series Flukes will have a temperature sensor as well, so you can measure temperature with it. Now, 177 doesn't, but the 179 here actually has a temperature read as well. So what you can see, these are the same family really, the 17 series, but this one on the right just has that extra temperature function. So you can see the temperature there, and then this one just doesn't have it. So I've been using this one for quite a while. This is, I don't know, 5-6 years old. It's lasted me really well. It's done fantastic, no issues with it. But I've just recently bought the 179 because I need that temperature reading, and this also logs the temperature as well. So you can actually log it and have it to look back on. So that's really nice. Put that on the side there. So when you are buying these, again, keep in mind the features that you want. These guys won't do temperature at all. The 107 doesn't do temperature, but I think some of the higher series, like the 117, I think, something like that, they will do temperature as well. So you don't need to spend $400 in order to get temperature. You can go for some of the smaller ones as well, especially if you're working in HVAC. There are specific multimeters for HVAC. And that's actually where Fluke comes in. So almost any application that you do need Fluke will have a meter specifically for that. Now, one other major thing that I do want to talk about is obviously these are all multimeters, but this here is a clamp meter. You can measure the current and the voltage depending on the model by not actually breaking any of the circuits. So by doing current, what you need to do on these other models here is obviously you swap this prong out here, and then you put this on one side, you put this on the other side, and then the current actually runs from one side here through the multimeter and back out through the other side. So effectively you've got to break the loop of whatever you're measuring. Whereas this, you don't, you just need that separate cable. You can put it through and it will actually use the sensors inside here to actually give you that current and voltage reading as well. So that can be really nice. So either way, what I want to highlight is there's different ways of measuring it. Now, the good thing, if you do actually get a clamp meter, a lot of them will come with terminals down the bottom. So what you can do is you can just take all these Fluke cables are interchangeable. So you can see that you can just take these ones, you can switch it over to voltage of whatever you want, and then you can actually use the leads here. So just to show that same thing, we're in voltage here and we can measure it, and you can see on the screen 20.5, right? So you can see that voltage pops straight up. And again, this is all auto range, so we can then change it back out here and you will get your 1.6 volts, right? If you do want that feature of having kind of both in one, this here is effectively a clamp meter and then a multimeter down the bottom as well. But this won't do capacitance. It's not going to be as good at precision electronics work. All right, that's pretty much it. That's a good overview. I'll put links to all of these below if you do want to check them out. I highly recommend Fluke. Obviously, you can see I've got quite a few of them. I've always had them. They're absolutely fantastic, super good quality, perhaps the best quality ones on the market. And then these cheap ones, I just keep one in the car, but that's about it. Don't end up using them all that much. But again, if you just want something cheap, these are a nice start. You're not really going to go wrong with them. Just be cautious using them for high voltage stuff, because I don't personally trust them. Again, links below. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button. It does very much support the channel. If you do want to see more of this sort of stuff, tool reviews, teardowns, all this sort of good stuff, consider subscribing. And as always, have a good one.